Hey! Alright everybody, how's it going? Right, in front of me here is a second-hand bike. I purchased a second-hand bike about a week ago, and when you buy a second-hand bike, obviously there's things going to be wrong with it. And one of the first things I found out, which I should have looked up before when I bought it, was that the headset bearings are all graunchy and a bit stiff to turn. I tried re-greasing the old ones, but they're still graunchy. So I bought some new ones. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to change the headset bearings on this Carrera CentOS 13 bike. I think these bikes were made around about the 2013, 2012 mark-ish. So this bike could be 8 years old or 7 years old, but I don't know. But anyway, so let's have a look how I personally, I knocked my mic then, how I personally change these head bearings. So let's have a look at what kind of tools we need. So one of the first things, if you're building bikes, one of the first things I would get, personally myself, is a torque wrench. And the reason being is that when you're building a bike, like for instance now, I've got to take off the headstock, the handlebars, I've got to take the fork out, I probably have to take the brake off just to get these headset bearings, but then you've got to do everything back up again. Now, if you haven't got one of these, it's easy to over-tighten all the bolts. And I know this, but I bought this bike second hand, and I'm looking over there because the bike's over there. I bought this bike second hand, and when I went to undo the bolts on the handlebars, it was like they'd been done up by a bloody gorilla, honestly. It was so tight as when they hadn't stripped the thread. And on the actual handlebars itself, it had a little sign and it said 5 Newton meters. Now 5 Newton meters isn't a lot. It's only a little ooh like that, right? So you don't need to get a big long thing and go ooh and do your bike bolts up. Most of the bike bolts are very low torque. Anyway, I'm waffling. Get yourself a torque wrench. For this job, you're going to need a hammer. You're going to need some sort of metal rod like this so you can knock the old bearings out. What else are you going to need? You're going to need various sort of hex Allen keys to undo all the handlebars, take the brake off, take the fork out. You're going to need one of these. Now, in my shed, I've got the luxury of having a press, so I could put these bearings back in with a press. But for the purposes of this video, so I can show that you can do it on the cheap, I've got myself some threaded rod off eBay. I think it was about £3.50 for the threaded rod. Then you've got to get some big washers, some small washers, and some nuts. Okay, so I'll be using that to put the new bearings in on the cheap. So I'd just like to jump in and say that if you bought the proper press workshop tool, like the one pictured here, then you wouldn't have any problems with the headset bearings going in at an angle. You'll see in a minute that I had to fight to try and keep the headset bearings going in straight. Anyway, let's get back to the video. And what else you're going to need? You probably need some rag, and I'm going to use some of the old the grease I always use, which is Silicon Pro RG2. It's red racing grease. It's like a waterproof high temperature grease. It's very, very good. It lasts for ages because there's so much in there. Because when I first started looking at bikes, they say buy this blue lithium grease, but I prefer this myself anyway. So anyway, let's take some stuff off and get these forks off and knock the old bearings out. So first of all, I'm going to take off these old grips. I've got new grips coming. You can see I've cut them already. Because I was having a look at the old bearings to see what they were like. But anyway, I've put a bit of tape around them just to keep them on. But these are quite hard to get off usually. So if you're taking old ones off, you might as well cut them. I've seen people use compressed air to get them off. But anyway, so I'm going to take the brakes off first. Let's have a look. It's easy to do like this to get the handlebars out of the way, because you'll have everything flopping around otherwise. You can just leave it flopping, don't expect, but I like to get everything out of the way. So anyway, I'll start off there. Let's undo that one. Over there. How that looks like. Cut off this here. Get rid of that grip like that. Now you'll find that gets a bit tight there on that one. Usually got to undo the brake caliper. So let's have a quick look at the brake caliper. Let's put that down there like that. Like that. That'll come up a bit then. Give you a bit of slack on the old cable, so you can pull that off there. Right. Now then, what should we do next? Let's take off the I can't remember what that's called now. The thingamajig. The thing that clamps the handlebars on. I can't remember what it's called. Let's take that off there. Out of there like that. God, that's a long one, I think. Right, that's out of there. Then go back to the smaller one and do these. Then pop that off. Take the spacers out. Take that cap off there, and then you've got this little doodah in here, but let's see if I can get it, pop it out like that, and that's out. Then your fork should be free then. Let's have a look. But the trouble is now, look, see, I got one of these silly combined brake and thingy cables, so I'm going to have to undo this bit here. Just undo this here. I haven't brought a small enough Allen key in, so I'll be back. A little small one to go on there, look. Let's undo that. I'll just turn the wheel. That should come through then. That's out the way then, look, okay. Pop that down there out the way. So you should be able to take the fork out now like this. Pops out. Put this to one side. It's gonna try, I have to put it on the floor because it's gonna flop everywhere. No, what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to drop everything. Pop that there like that. Don't know if you can see that there. Let's have a look if you can see that there. Right, see that there now? So I put the bike down on there like that. Bring that around there. get my device for hitting them out. And this is the bike's trying to move. Now, I haven't got a bike stand, so I haven't got the luxury of having a bike stand. Not everybody's got a bike stand, so I'm going to try and do my best by here. I'm going to put my one foot over the other side, stop the bike moving. Well, it moved like that. I'm going to pop that in there. I'm going to just get as easy as that, look. When I say as easy as that, the actual thing's popped out. There we go. That's the bearings out. You do exactly the same thing for that side, but I'm going to leave the top one in for a minute. When I press that one in, then I'll probably do it. You know what I mean. So I thought I'd show you the state that this is the top headset bearing, and that's grease mixed with rust, and there is a circlip on here, so I'll take the circlip off now and we'll have a little look inside what the bearings are like. I have to put the camera down when I take the circlip off because I haven't got 27 hands, so bear with me. I'll take the little circlip off and I'll come back now. So here's the circlip. Take that out of there. It was jammed in there quite tight, and then this should push out of there like that. And as you can see, look at that. I don't know if it's just showing up very well on the camera, but there's just sort of congealed grease. Let's look at that. Look at the state of that, look. See? I suppose that's from years of being outside in the rain and not being looked after very well. So there we go. So even if I took the bearings out, re-greased them, cleaned it all off, this inner race by here is all corroded and pitted, so it'd be no good at all. That's in a right mess, that is. That's just rusty grease. Anyway, that's why you should change them. Wonky again. Come on, man. See, it keeps going more wonky. Nah, see, it's gone completely wonky. So, because a cheap piece of threaded rod has no centering system like the proper tool, what I did in the end was I tapped the washer, done it up a bit, tapped the washer. If the cup went off slightly off angle, I used a hammer to put it back in, and in the end it went in. So when I said in the beginning that about the tools you need, I also needed to use a Dremel, because the bit that sits on the fork where the bearings sit on needs to come off, but I tried leaving it off and it was only too tight. The new ring, which I'll show by here on this picture, has got a split in it, so it comes off and on easy, but the old one was a solid piece. So anyway, here's me trying to drill it and hit it off. So there you go. After all I'm messing about, you can now put all the bearings back together. I'll show the picture again of how they all go together. It's pretty straightforward. And I think the torque settings for the stem is 5 Newton meters. So anyway, if this video helped you or if you enjoyed it, give it a like and please think about subscribing. And thanks again and catch you in the next one.